Hello and welcome to week 3 of NFL Gamepicks. We got Chris back from the dead. I don't know how you grew back your flesh and facial hair and
I'll
stuff.
teach you. I just like that.
No way.
You gotta squeeze really hard.
Can't believe that, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now the secret's out. Now you know.
All right, so we know what to do in the future.
Just gotta squeeze really hard, and then we're back from the dead.
I think it works in the reverse way. That's how you end up there. All right. Well, Chris, since you were gone, give us a little recap of how your week 2 went.
It sucked. The Bears are ass. I hate it here. Everybody and their brother wants to talk to me and text me and call me and tell me how bad the Bears are. So that's great.
So it's a constant reminder.
Yeah, pretty much. And we've lost 12 games in a row.
You guys haven't won a game since Elon Musk has bought Twitter. I hope you guys know that.
Really? You mean
Yeah.
X?
Well, bought Twitter made it X, but that's pretty
It's
wild.
bad. We might go a full calendar year, a full year without
That could be the
winning a
case.
game. I mean, not to foreshadow, but we're playing KC this week, and I think everybody knows how that's gonna go. So, Justin Fields might not be that guy.
Speaking of young quarterbacks, Joey.
Yeah, we looked pretty good until we didn't. Week 2, they had us in the first half, not gonna lie, and the second for a little bit. That fourth quarter was throw it in the frickin' incinerator and burn the film. That's a burn the tape quarter. I think Love looked good. 3 touchdowns again, leading the league, tied again with Kirk Cousins with 6 touchdown passes. I think he looked great. He was in a position really late in the game where he could have won it, but no timeouts, 57 seconds. Threw a nice ball to Samari Toure over the middle, but couldn't hang on.
That was the 4th down one, right?
Yeah, and ultimately lost the game. But I think we look good. The expectation for this year is purely vibes. I mean, we're not a Super Bowl team. We'd be lucky to make the playoffs. That's how the mentality's always been all summer. And we're going to lose games, and I don't want to say happy to lose it in that fashion, but if they're close and we look decent and we look like we have something going here, sure.
Yeah, in that scenario, you can live with it because you're all right. It's not like we went out there and just didn't do nothing. You went out there, you guys had them, and then
some people went out there and actually played. Yeah. AJ Dillon, what the hell?
I know we were gassing him up last week too.
I told you, man. He's a nice dude, really nice guy. Congrats, you're the mayor of Door County, but you trip over your own legs on 3rd and 1. You're huge as hell. What are you here for, man?
I started him in fantasy.
Same.
Not a good.
I cut him. Screw it. I mean, what the hell, right? I mean, he can't even perform with Aaron Jones out.
It is tough. In years past, he was able to, which is something we'll get more to that when we get to the Packers. I feel your frustration, Joey. Dolphins, big win against the New England Patriots. The ending was absurd. I mean, me and Chris were watching it together, and dude, I almost lost it when they had that 4th down. That was so close.
That was sick. With what was it, number 69?
Yeah, Cole Strange.
Yeah.
He almost got it, dude. I was just I kind of wanted them to get it. I kind of wanted them to get it to see what would have happened, because but at the same time I was kind of fearful because they kind of had the momentum with them.
Robert Hunt ran, or how does it go? How Robert Hunt walks, so
so Cole Strange can fly.
Yeah, however the hell it goes.
Yeah, no, you're good.
He invented it.
But overall, I was happy with the win. Patriots gave the Dolphins an umbrella coverage, and Dolphins just picked it apart with the passing game, and then running game just showed up big time. Raheem Mostert had himself a game, so that's all you can ask for as a fan. Let's get into some standings. Your boy is still on top, 22-10, but we have a new person up here tied with me, Yadian. He went 12-4 last week, which is tied for first of last week. He tied with Steve, so shout out to you boys. But yeah, me and Yadian are tied 22-10. 3rd place goes to a couple guys: Troy, Andres, Eddie, Steve, all at.
It says Troy's in 2nd place.
Oh, my bad. Troy, hey, 2nd place, bud. 21-11. And then 3rd place goes to Andres G, Eddie, and Steve at 20-12. And this list is long, so we're not going to get too much. But if you guys have a big week, you guys will be mentioned each and every week, so that would be cool. But, Joey, why don't you kick us off with Thursday night football?
Yeah, let's do it. We got the New York Football Giants traveling to San Francisco to face off against the 49ers.
Sick.
49ers look strong this year. Brock Purdy specifically looks strong here and there, on the field, and he's looked like he's put some weight on. He's looked like he's been hitting the gym, and it's clearly shown because the 49ers look like probably the best team in the NFC outside of the Eagles. I mean, just kind of off of recency bias and everything, I would probably go with the Eagles over them, but the 49ers this year have shown a lot more promise than they have so far, in my opinion. I think that this is an easy game to pick. The 49ers are going to win here. The Giants have not looked good at all. Saquon Barkley's not playing. This is a pretty easy game to pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think the 49ers are going to take this one pretty much with ease. Saquon being out is a huge factor for myself in terms of picking this, so that definitely is like a huge deciding factor. The spread is -10 in favor of San Fran, -550 on the money line, over under set at 44.
This might be a good under game.
San Fran can put up some points.
San Fran can, but Purdy's only thrown 2 touchdown passes this year so far. So they've been running the ball a lot. Christian McCaffrey is that guy. He is an animal. He's amazing to watch, and he's leading the league in rushing, and it's not even close. Like, the second closest guy is, 70, 80 yards behind him. Like, it's not even that close.
Yeah, through 2 weeks, that's kind of a lot.
Plus, like you mentioned, Barkley being out is huge. The Giants went 6 quarters, the first 6 quarters of the year without scoring any points. 6 quarters. My Bears didn't even do that. So I'm taking San Fran. I think it's an easy pick. They're at home. The Giants played a late game on Sunday. This is a quick turnaround. They haven't even gone back to New York. So they went from Arizona straight to San Fran. And I think they've been practicing at the Cardinals facilities all week, something like that. But anyways, they're an East Coast team that's been on West Coast time for 2 weeks now. I'm taking San Fran at home. I think it's the easy pick.
Yeah, the Dolphins did a similar thing last year. They played the San Francisco 49ers, and then the following week they played the Los Angeles Chargers, and there was no point in going back to Miami. That's
right.
I feel for the Giants in terms of that. With that being said, I don't think that's going to help, especially with your lead back out. Who's your backup? James Robinson? I want to say it's him.
I don't remember.
I believe it's James Robinson, who could be a sneaky fantasy pickup for
Matt Breida.
And then after that, is it James Robinson? No? Okay.
I don't know where James Robinson is, but
wasn't he there last year, though?
I think so.
Could have sworn. Whatever. Anyways, we're going to hop into the next game. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus Detroit Lions. This is the first game of the 1 o'clock window. Actually, I could be mistaken. Is this not the London game? No, my bad. I was thinking of the Jaguars with the Falcons. Anyways, the Atlanta Falcons, Detroit Lions, 1 o'clock kickoff. Detroit is favored by -3. Money line -170 for the Lions. Over under set at 46 points. Detroit ruined Barry Sanders' statue day by losing to the Seahawks last week.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That's a good game, though.
Yeah, and then the Falcons had a big comeback win against the Green Bay Packers. So, Joey, I'll let you lead us off once again.
Sure. Yeah, the Falcons looked really good. I kind of alluded it to it in our recap. Mm-hmm. But Bijan Robinson, stud, absolute menace to society.
Love him.
Great guy though. You know what I mean? Just a stud on the field. I have to. This is really hard. I think I have to go with the Detroit Lions just because, they beat the Chiefs. I know that's kind of weird to kind of only give them their flowers because they beat the Chiefs. They did just lose to Geno Smith and the Seahawks, who look so-so this year. Pretty good, hot and cold. Week 1 they looked good or didn't look good. Last week they did. I think Atlanta has a strong chance of making this a good game, but I got Detroit in this one.
I'm going to roll with Detroit as well. I think Detroit could very easily be 2-0, just like the Falcons. Yeah. They were both close games, and they played 2 playoff teams in the Seahawks and the Chiefs, where the Falcons have kind of gotten off to an easier schedule. No offense, Joey, but Carolina and then Green Bay with Jordan Love, who's essentially almost a rookie quarterback because he's just now starting to get playing time. I'm going to take Detroit at home. Jared Goff has looked really good on my bench in fantasy. I have Lawrence. I'm almost considering packaging Lawrence with Amari Cooper to try to get somebody else and just start Jared Goff because he's been going off.
Those are like some of the things that I look forward to in fantasy is like you have like a young promising player and you also have like a pretty chiseled vet in like Jared Goff. And you're like, I could start this guy almost every week and get at least consistently almost 15 points out of him. Especially in their offense, the way they've been playing, like they're going to be putting up points. Like week 1, they had 20-something points, so like under 30 for sure. And then week 2, they had 30-something. And one thing I want to say is Jared Goff threw a pick 6 late to make it a 2-possession game, which was unfortunate. And they still managed to force OT, which I got to give them their flowers. You know, Detroit can hang with anyone, and I think they'll make way with this Atlanta Falcons team. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Bijan Robinson. I have him on my fantasy team. I saw a little above the arena view of him doing like a juke on I think Darnell Savage or something.
Yeah.
And dude, that was like it was like poetry in motion type of vibe. It was cool. But
I will say that I feel like we're kind of sleeping on the Falcons a little bit too much going to 3-0, considering the fact that Detroit really banged up on the defensive side. C.J. Gardner-Johnson probably out for the year.
That's true.
James Houston, 6 to 8 weeks. I know we kind of talked about Darnell Savage getting juked out of his boots, but he's not a very good safety either, and Desmond Ridder kind of dotted him up on a pretty deep pass to kind of fuel that comeback late. And if they can go after their safeties that don't have a lot of experience, especially coming in, with a big injury going out, I think that the Falcons can perform well, and I think Desmond Ridder might have a chance of actually pulling this thing off.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, Chris,
Not as confident with you in that.
No.
But
I'm picking the Lions, but I'm just saying, there's a chance.
So we got the next game, Buffalo Bills at the Washington Football Commanders. I think this is another easy pick for me. The Bills, like I just said for the last pick, they could very easily be 2-0 as well. They lost to that Jets team who were fueled by winning for Rodgers, apparently. Well, whatever. But I'm going to take the Bills. They've looked bad, honestly. So I'm waiting for them to pick it up.
the Bills, yeah.
Specifically on offense, especially Josh Allen, all these turnovers. I forget what it is, but I think he has like 6 or 8 already throughout the year. Like it's
He
bad.
had 4 against the Jets.
And then he threw, I think, 2 picks last week too. It's
Okay.
just he hasn't looked good. He's not a top 3 quarterback like we've always been kind of used to seeing him or kind of putting him there. Still no Von Miller for the Buffalo Bills, which always hurts when you're missing a guy like that. But on the other side, Chase Young is back. He got his first sack. I think he had a sack and a half actually last week. I like watching him play a lot.
Chase Young is a stud, absolute stud. With that being said, though, I'm going with the Bills. They're just way too good of a team to like lose to a team like the Commanders. Commanders, it all rides offensively on Sam Howell. If he could pretty much game manage, then they're going to be in games. I didn't get to watch too much of their game against the Broncos last week, but we saw the ending, and now
Big comeback.
that was absurd. The entire game, like towards the end, was absolutely crazy. Like it's kind of must-watch football there. But yeah, this Bills team, I think they're starting to pick up the ball and figure out like how to get this offense going because week 1, definitely a lot of fingers pointed towards Josh Allen, and rightfully so. But overall, that offense wasn't moving, running, and like obviously him passing the ball. So I think they got it together. They got a good game against the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think the Commanders are going to be challenging defensively, but I think their defense can limit the Commanders' offense, which is going to be a big point.
Yeah, I definitely think Buffalo runs away with this one, but it could be a trap game for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm kind of leaning towards it being a trap game, but Sam Howell's 3-0 as a starter in the NFL. Something to kind of consider. Don't think it'll matter too much against the Bills. I think it'll be kind of a repeat of what they did last week to the Raiders.
Okay. Well, by this point, you guys already know I get very excited when talking about one of the teams here. We have the Denver Broncos versus the Miami Dolphins. 1 o'clock game. Miami's favored by almost a touchdown, 6.5 points, and money line is minus 292. Over-under is set at 48.5. Oh, man. I'm not too sure about the over-under on this one. Do you guys have any takes on the over-under here?
That's a high number.
It's a high number. I think the
like
Dolphins can be a big contributor to it, but the Dolphins are favored.
I would take the under.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if Denver tries to come out with a similar defense as the Patriots did last week, then maybe I would consider taking the under. But like by that point, it's already game time. You know, you already got the idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I think obviously I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are on a hot streak right now. I don't care who's injured or not. Right now, Waddle's questionable with. I forgot they haven't.
Concussion.
I don't know.
Concussion.
Like that's what they're listing it as.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. So yeah, they have him listed out with concussion. Tyreek Hill just got listed as questionable as well. So that's something to be a little bit concerned about. But I don't think it's anything crazy. But either way, I think the way the offense has been moving, it definitely will hurt. Should any of those guys miss the game. But aside from that, I think they've been installing this system well enough that it could work without them, at least one of them being out. Two of them, I think that would be very drastic to this offense's success. Defense is looking good. They did get a little bit of exposed here and there against the New England Patriots, but I think they have a chance to right the ship against this Denver Broncos team, who's struggling right now. Right now, what are they? 0-2. Yeah,
Yep.
It's tough for Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Last note: Tua is 9-0 against former Super Bowl winning coaches. So I'm expecting him to extend that to 10-0 and make it double digits.
I agree. He probably will. Denver, I really don't know what to make of them yet because they've been in the games. Like
Yeah.
they've had chances
No,
to
they're no
win.
slouch.
Plus, you got Russ. They got a lot of weapons. Honestly, like a lot of guys that play wide receiver for him to throw the ball to, which it's fun to watch. But I think you got to go with the Dolphins. They're clearly the better team. Hopefully, Tyreek plays, or else it's going to be a lot closer of a game because I don't really know who they're going to be throwing the ball to outside of Braxton Berrios.
Braxton Berrios, Cedric Wilson. Like, it's not going to be great if that's the case.
Yes, I don't really know if they'll succeed if he's not there, but I really like McDaniel and the way he draws up plays. I think it is kind of almost like nobody else in the league. I really like his play design. So I think either way, they'll figure out a way to beat this Denver Broncos team.
Real quick, Joey. Yeah, today at work we're doing like some like Piero's type stuff, like kind of deep dive and like drawing the plays and seeing like all the motions, and they literally focus on the Dolphins today, and it was so sick because like it was just like literally their offense right now. The schemes are just like you motion this person to kind of get a read on the coverage, and then bam, you already kind of have your read before the ball's even snapped.
Exactly.
And then because you're already seeing where guys are at and where they're lining up and where they're motioning with your guys. So that was really cool to see, like kind of a deeper dive, because not too many people are doing too many of those when it comes to the Dolphins, except for like people who do it like on a daily basis or on like YouTube and stuff like that. So
Yeah, Mike. Their head coach is a damn genius. If I'm being honest, I saw him running like a crazy man at the end of the damn game.
flat 40.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel, gotta love him. But yeah, this is a pretty damn easy game to pick. I'm going with Miami. Denver, they suck, man. I don't even know what to think of them. They're supposed to have this new culture with this new coach and this veteran quarterback, and they just stink. They're 0-2. What the hell? Go with Miami, man. They're probably the hottest team in the league right now.
I will add though, Denver is 0-2 with a loss differential of 3 points total or 2 points total. So you know they're losing, but they're losing like literally by a split hair, which is very unfortunate for them. But Chris, why don't you take us to this next game?
Duval. Got the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is a good AFC South matchup. Surprisingly enough, what's his name? Stroud doesn't look that bad. Like, he's top 5 in passing yards right now in the league. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. Hopefully they win at home. Jacksonville has not been scoring the ball. I think they scored 21 and then 9. So hopefully this is a game for them to get some confidence, use some of these weapons. which would be good for my fantasy as well. And hopefully they get a good win at home.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy game to pick as well. I think Jacksonville is, they had a pretty close-ish. I don't know, not really. It was kind of a pretty bad game for them. Let's be real. Let's call it how it is. Jacksonville did not play well against Kansas City. I want to say that they did because I like them a lot, but they didn't. This is the Houston Texans. They're terrible. Jacksonville's supposed to be really good. Let's go with Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Jacksonville as well. I do want to revisit one of your comments from last week, though, Joey.
Okay.
You said Trevor Lawrence is going to go on a scorched earth tour.
Hey, we'll see what happens, but it didn't happen last week. It's coming. He's got a lot of crappy teams in that division, so that's 6 games.
That's
right
for
there.
sure. But yeah, it was a very underwhelming game. I was like really upset with like how Jacksonville came out and played. But you got to give kudos to Kansas City, who came out defensively and was able to stop Jacksonville's offense, who, in my opinion, I would put them in in terms of what they have on the field, probably one of the top 10 offenses in the entire NFL.
Sure.
So that's something that, like, moving forward, I think they're going to look at themselves and be like, we got to be better than that. And it comes into a do-or-die situation. We cannot allow that to happen. But, yeah, it just did not look good for them. But, Joey, there's another AFC at South team for the next game. Who we got?
We got the Indianapolis Colts traveling into Baltimore to face off against the Ravens. And Anthony Richardson went out with a concussion. Looked really good until he did leave the game. That's sad to see. I think that he's going to be fantastic. We all know that I'm very high on him on the show. Ravens, I think, are going to win this game. Colts aren't very good, man. I mean, I don't know. They played really well last week. And they did play well against Jacksonville, but I just don't think that they're going to hold up long term. And Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson, so we're riding with the crib.
But the Colts have Gardner Minshew.
I was waiting for that. I knew you were going to say that, too.
I love Gardner Minshew. I think he got a bad shake and a bad deal.
It's unfortunate that they ended up drafting Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and then he went to, I think, Philly for a little bit, too, and backed up Hurts. I think if you put him on the 49ers win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. He's better than Brock Purdy. That being said, I'm still going to go with the Ravens. I think this game's harder to pick than Joey said. I think it's going to be a closer game than we think. I'm not very high on the Colts, though, this year. I don't think they want to win a lot of games. And like you mentioned, Richardson out kind of hurts them a lot.
Yeah, Richardson being out is like a huge deficit, and that's crazy to say about a guy who's just 1.5 games into his rookie career, which is like a rookie season, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, I was saying last week, he does have that impact for the Indianapolis Colts. Gardner Minshew will right the ship, but I don't think he's gonna lead them to a promised land or anything. I'm gonna take the Baltimore Ravens here, but down the line, however long Gardner Minshew is gonna be starting in place for Anthony Richardson, I have faith in Minshew, at least to perform well. I wouldn't say to, make the Colts a true competitor and win, be like in games all the time, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We have probably one of my favorite games from the 1 o'clock window. We have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Currently, in terms of betting, it's at a pick 'em. Before, when I was making the graphics, it was Minnesota favored just by a few, just because they're home. But both of these teams 0-2, which is a shocker, I would say, for both teams. But
Crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely tough. But yeah, spreads a pick 'em, money lines a pick 'em, over under set at 54. Los Angeles has lost by a total of 5 points through 2 games. That's unfortunate. Minnesota, not so much. They've had a little bit more tougher losses. It's tough. Against the Eagles, they pretty much got the clock ran out on them, and then every time they got the ball, they pretty much fumbled it. So they had, I think, 3 fumbles. Kirk played a solid game. It was just everyone else just wasn't securing the ball, and that's unfortunate when you're trying to put up points and you can't because your playmakers are, unfortunately. Well, it also happened on special teams too, so it's not entirely on their offense. But yeah, that day there was fumbles everywhere too. Philadelphia fumbled a couple times as well. So, but this Chargers team, man, bad breaks for the last 2 weeks. It's unfortunate for them. But this is like a rough start for a team that was having playoff aspirations. Do I think they missed the playoffs just because of this rough start? I don't think so, because teams like the Bengals last year started off 0-2 and still ended up, 1, winning the division, 2, making a deep run in the playoffs. So with that being said, I do think the Los Angeles Chargers are the better team, so I'll ride with them.
I think I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. I'd like to see the Vikings start 0-3. Although, like you mentioned, I'm shocked both are 0-2. Yeah. That's surprising to me. Kirko Chains is he's balling out. He's having a great year, and it sucks that his defense, yet again, is one of the worst defenses in the league. That being said, that is also kind of why I'm taking the Chargers. I think they have a better defense. And the Chargers have been in every game. They've lost by 3 and they've lost by 2. And I like Justin Herbert a lot, too. Great player.
Yeah, I was seeing that the media was kind of trying to twist this whole losing streak about how they're still affected from their loss in Jacksonville from the AFC Championship game.
I don't know.
And I don't really kind of agree with that. I just think that the Los Angeles Chargers have played some pretty tough teams, and they've been in it, like Chris said, and they've been really close, and I think that they've been playing pretty damn well. On the other hand, the Minnesota Vikings, offensively, great. Defensively, horrible. So for that reason, totally going with the Chargers.
Sorry.
What do we got over there? We got copyright to that or what, Chris?
Yeah,
you
Chris is
playing?
trying to shut us down, man.
Some ad
Chris is
out here trying to bring us down, dude.
I'm trying.
I don't know what's going on there, man.
Well, back to it, Joey.
Yeah, man. I'm just going. I think I'm going with the Chargers here.
Did you see?
Really easy for me.
You saw the Vikings traded for Cam Akers today too.
I was gonna get to that, but yeah, go ahead.
No, that was it. Yeah. It's an interesting pickup, especially when everybody was shoving Alexander Madison down our throats all offseason, telling us how he's going to be.
They've been shoving Alexander Madison down our throats for the past.
It's just like
however
A.J.
long
Dillon.
he's been. Yeah.
They're good when they have a better guy in front of them. So when they come into the game, they're just different.
They're literally good for the last 3 weeks of the fantasy season.
I still don't understand why they got rid of Dalvin, honestly, but that's besides me.
We're going to speak about Dalvin
ridiculous,
in a second because his team is coming up. But yeah, I, for not 1 second, did believe into the Alexander Madison hype. And it's not because you guys may or may not have affected my thoughts on that, but it's just like, dude, I didn't see it. Like, obviously, when a guy, and you guys were explaining, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones, obviously, the alpha running back there. A.J. Dillon came in when Aaron Jones either was out or just tired and taking a break, and he did well because he's the backup.
He's playing
fresh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you're the lead guy, it's a whole different story. But now let's get to the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. Dalvin Cook leads the league in fumbles, 4 fumbles throughout 2 games. It's unfortunate. I don't want to speak too ill on him because I think he's a cool dude, but made a mistake. You should have selected the Miami Dolphins. Instead, you were greedy and you went to the New York Jets. And I don't think any of South Florida will forgive you. We may accept you back into coming to the Dolphins in the future, but a lot of South Floridians who are Dolphin fans will not be pleased with you doing that. So, with that being said, I am going with the Patriots. I think the Patriots are not going to be 0-2 after this game. You're facing the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson looks horrendous, abundantly bad. I understand. He played 2 really good defenses in the past 2 weeks. I don't care. He looks bad. He's facing another tough defense in the New England Patriots who I expect to be healthier than they were in week 2 against the Dolphins. So I think he's just not good. Not good for Zach Wilson.
No, I agree. I think Zach Wilson might be QB 32 in the league.
After this week, he might be QB number 33, 34 after Gardner Minshew gets a good start. And
that might be true too. That might be true. And then you have to take the Patriots here because are you going to tell me that Zach Wilson's going to be Bill Belichick?
No,
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not as big on Mac Jones as everybody at our offices. I don't think he's that great, but he's definitely a hell of a lot better than Zach Wilson, who threw that slant to Garrett Wilson. They were like, oh, maybe. And then we saw the rest of the game. We're like, no, he still sucks. So his brother is actually one of the highest QBs in high school right now. Uh-huh. I think he's going to suck too.
Oh, yeah, we got the New England Patriots versus the New York losers. Listen, man, Zach Wilson, you got a great smile, my friend, but you are bad at football. Don't know how else to put it. Jets aren't winning this football game. Patriots are getting their first of the season. We could go right the whole narrative that, yes, the Cowboys' defense is very good, and Zach Wilson does look really bad against a good defense. But we know what Zach Wilson is. Let's stop trying to, let's not, dress up a pig, or something. I don't even know, and just call it a show pig. But this is not what's going down. Zach Wilson sucks. So does Mac Jones, for that matter. But the Patriots are going to win this game. Sorry.
Yeah. One quick tidbit: Patriots are 0-2 for the first time since Brady went down with his ACL injury. And then their first 0-2 season at home to start off the season since 1975, which is kind of absurd.
Wow.
But this time they're on the road, so that streak won't continue, at least for now. But yeah, Joey, how about you take us to this next game, huh?
Let me talk to you. Got the New Orleans Saints coming to Green Bay to face off against the Packers in their home opener. Packers are 1-1. Saints are 2-0. This is a pretty interesting game. Marcus May isn't playing for the Saints, I guess, anymore, or as of right now for this game. Something to do with, I think, PEDs or something like that. I think he got suspended for something like that. But anyway, all I know is I saw that he's not playing in this game, which is really big for Jordan Love to attack, especially with Christian Watson coming back, number 9. He practiced this week, so hopefully we'll see a little bit more offensive firepower on the field. And Jordan Love can lead the Packers to a victory at home, and that's who I'm going with. I'm going with the Packers. Defensively, we played really terrible last week, but they all seem really pissed off about the loss, and it seems like they really want to play better. They feel like they shouldn't have lost that game. They feel like they should be undefeated right now, potentially looking at 3-0 with a home victory coming up for Jordan Love. I think they're going to get this victory for him, but it's a shame they couldn't close it out last week.
Yeah, last week was tough for you guys. I caught the tail end of that game, and I was pretty upset that Jordan Love couldn't convert on that game-winning drive, that possible game-winning drive. As far as picking, it's pretty lopsided in terms of who's picked so far already. A lot of people have picked Green Bay. The few standouts who have picked the Saints are Eddie, Matt, and Sean. Let me see. I don't think DJ's selected yet, but I already know who DJ would select.
Yeah, DJ's definitely picking the Saints.
Yeah, he's rocking with his Saints. This one's tough for me. Chris, you gotta read on this game?
I'm going with the Saints. Saints have a top 5 defense right now. I think the 3-touchdown streak comes to an end for Jordan Love. Hopefully. Sorry, Joey. I know you've had a rough day. You don't want to hear this, but I'm going to roll with it. And we all questioned the Lions getting rid of Jamal Williams. And, how could you, especially after he scored all those 17 touchdowns, I think, last year? Mm-hmm. He's not looked good at all.
He's got the hamstring injury. He ain't playing this week either.
He's playing. I think he's questionable. He might not play. And so they're down to, their 4th back if he doesn't play. Because Alvin Kamara, of course, is still suspended. And then their rookie running back has been banged up, and he hasn't really been playing either. I'm going to go with the Saints on the road. They need to score some points, though. They haven't
they were
really.
They were able to score some against the Panthers on Monday night. But, I think I wouldn't say that was a fluke, but the offense is struggling, and I think it's a big thing to what you alluded to, the running backs. Just, the running back health and, just room right now is just not great in terms of depth. They're crying and scratching for Alvin Kamara to come back and really be a force there. And that would be huge in the future if that's the case, because I think he could really uplift that offense. Because I think they have a good chance. I think their receivers are solid. I think Derek Carr is solid at QB. So I think that would be good for them. But I will have to go with the Green Bay Packers on this one. I think they got dealt a tough blow last week. They're at home. Is this the first home game?
Yes, it is.
They're going to win this game. They're going to win this game. Games at Lambeau Field, they're going to win that by a landslide. So, I'm rocking with the Packers there. I'm sorry to DJ because I would love to pick the Saints, but there's no chance I'm going to go against the Packers right now. Chris, what do we got for the next game?
Next game. This is an interesting one. Tennessee Titans are going to the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson hasn't looked great to me. I haven't watched as much football as you guys because you guys are luckily off and I'm working, so it's hard to watch sometimes. So I haven't really seen too much from him, but when I have seen him, he hasn't looked good. Cleveland hasn't looked great either, just overall. I think I'm going to take the Titans. They just beat the Chargers. They lost to the Saints in a really close one-score game. I guess I'll take them, but Cleveland at home isn't a bad pick to me either. This is really a toss-up for me. I could maybe get persuaded to jump ship by the end of this if you guys can persuade me.
Okay. Well, I'll let Joey speak because I have my mind made up.
Listen, I think I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. They look really good this season. Deshaun Watson, but so far, I think that they're slowly but surely getting back to momentum. I know the Nick Chubb injury has definitely thrown a monkey in the wrench.
That was bad.
Pain in the neck, it's not what we needed right now. Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt are now the running backs for the Cleveland Browns. They just signed Kareem Hunt today. I'm going to go with Cleveland. I don't know. Tennessee has been not the greatest team in the past couple seasons, so if they were to win this game, they do have a lot of talent. I wouldn't be shocked, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns.
There is something about this Tennessee Titans team that attracts me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like their grittiness. I don't know if it's their quarterback, maybe because I just loved watching that guy growing up. But honestly, this Tennessee Titans team, led by Mike Vrabel, is always going to be competitive as long as he's there as their head coach. So I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I think they have a good chance of winning this game, especially with the Nick Chubb injury. That was such a gruesome injury, and I hate Chris for showing me the replay nonstop because you know I hate that stuff. And you're like, look at this. This is great. Well, that's another thing.
Oh, jeez, I knew this.
You're not escaping it. You're not escaping it. So, guys, we're watching the game, and Chris, that drive where Nick Chubb, whatever happened to his knee, that drive leading up to that, Chris is like, oh, I think Nick Chubb can have like a career like Frank Gore, long career, Hall of Famer, all that stuff. I agreed with a lot of that stuff. I said just not as long as Frank Gore, not as long as like 18 years. And then what happens about, I would say like 5 or so plays later, Chris?
It was pretty close to the time that I said it to when he got hurt. And it was like, you couldn't really see it at first because it was kind of on the far side of the cameras. It didn't look that bad. But then they slowed it down and they paused it. They didn't show it on one of the broadcasts. Mm-hmm. I had to go on my laptop and find it on the other broadcast to see it. I really didn't know what happened. Like, everybody's on their knees, helmets are off. This dude's leg took like a 90-degree angle.
In the wrong direction.
In the wrong direction.
It bends like this, right? It bent like that.
Yeah,
so it wasn't supposed to do that.
It was bad. And it must have been less than 5 minutes after I made that statement.
Literally, like we just finished talking about it, and then next thing you know, I see him holding his knee. I'm like, what the hell, dude? What just happened? It was not great. But yeah, I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. I think Kareem Hunt is a huge signing for this Browns team. I think that's like, if you were to replace Nick Chubb in a sense, that was the perfect fit because someone who's familiar with the system. But I don't think he's gonna get too acquainted with any of the nuances that they may or may not have added to this year's offense. But I think in the long run, I think this is huge, and I think this keeps the Browns' title aspirations alive. But for the time being, this Titans team is going to get the win. All right, what do we have next, gentlemen? What do we have next? We have the Carolina Panthers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Bryce Young has an ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken. I think Joey for sure, at least generally knows. I don't know if Chris knows it, but yeah, Bryce Young has. There's an announcement of his ankle injury. I wasn't too pleased with his Monday Night Football performance. I think every time he got pressured, like big time pressured, the ball was coming out of his possession, and that is not great. And these are like a lot of the issues that a lot of the people who were analyzing his draft prospect and all that stuff, these were the concerns. He's too small. I'm not agreeing with it, but we're seeing some of those things come to light. And hopefully he could, in the offseason, add a little bit more muscle because I think he's a little bit scrawny, but add a little bit more muscle and just like be able to control taking those hits and not really have the ball popping out almost every single time you're getting hit in the backfield. That being said, the Seahawks are a team that has shown time and time again to never count them out. So I'm going to rock with the Seahawks over here.
I'm going to pick Seattle as well. Yeah, I agree with what you were saying about Bryce Young. He's way too small. I don't see him lasting very long, unfortunately. He just looks small compared to everybody else. He might be great. I don't know. But as of right now, he hasn't even thrown for 300 yards in the first 2 games. He has 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He doesn't look very good to me. I'm taking Seattle at home. And I hope the Panthers keep losing because we have a bunch of draft picks coming from them.
That is true.
Hoping that they lose.
What about you, Joy?
Yeah, they're gonna lose this game. Seattle is, they're a good squad. They're not. I mean, last year they were really good. Kind of fell off late. They had a chance to be really a big impact player in the NFC, but some injuries and some, tough opponents late in the season kind of hindered that. They were a playoff team, but they were, I think, the last seed in there. So it was a good year for Seattle, but overall they were lucky to make the playoffs. I still think that they're better than the Panthers. I'm going with the Seahawks. Panthers, Bryce Young not practicing today. We'll see if he plays Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't.
Well, if he doesn't, it'll be Andy Dalton.
Ooh, the Red Rifle.
Red Rifle.
Does that change things for you guys?
No.
I didn't
That
think
is
so.
a strong collective no. As much as like Andy Dalton is cool and all that stuff, I would not really be prepared to take the Red Rifle.
He's got to be getting up there too in age, right?
Yeah, he's getting up there. But Chris, I know you're looking forward to this game.
Do redheads get gray hair? Just kind of wondering.
It's an interesting question.
You know what I mean?
like
Have you ever
it's
seen a
either-
redhead with gray
I
hair?
feel like it's red and then white.
It's just
crazy.
it's just like
One
No,
minute,
gray.
one minute you're heat miser, then the next you're snow miser.
Exactly.
all right. Well, Chris, take us to the game. What we got here?
We got the Bears going to Kansas City, 4:25 on Sunday, to pick up yet another loss. And this will be the one time I'm taking KC. This will be the one time I bet against the Bears and they might win. Probably not, though. Justin Fields hasn't looked good throwing the ball, and he hasn't really ran the ball that well either. He had a rushing touchdown last week. Go with KC here. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that they're the better football team. And the Bears are going to extend their losing streak to 13 in a row. So that's awesome, and I love football.
Same. Love football.
Oh, that's tough. KC is favored by 12.5 points.
Jeez.
Money line minus 800. Over under 47. So I think that's a little bit favorable. I would probably take the under. No, I would take the over just because of the news that happened today about the defensive coordinator. I think the defense is just going to be kind of out of sync, and I would bet KC money line and over 47 points.
Well,
total.
what a weird situation that was. Dude we're 2 games into the season. He missed last week, too. He wasn't at the game at all. And he just quits. I mean, I know he mentioned he's taking time off
For his
health and family.
He's pulling the Urban Meyer right now.
Yeah, like, do you not just want to be on a shitty team? Or, like, if we would have started off 1-0, would that have changed things? I don't really know what's going on with him. I don't want to speculate on that part.
Have you seen any of the rumors, though?
No, I haven't.
They're not good.
They're
not good.
I've tried to stay
Joey,
off
have
my
you seen
phone
any of the
today.
rumors?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Joey.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Casey just to make things a lot easier. But what are the rumors we got here, Joey?
I mean, the reason why Justin Fields isn't playing himself, or as he said, he's playing robotic because of the coaching. It's just not a good scenario over there in Chicago. There's been just a lot of crap going down today. The media actually had to go into the locker room again to talk to Fields.
Yeah, they did.
Yo, did you actually mean what you said?
And he
was
kind of like took
doubled
it back.
down on it.
For real?
Yeah.
I thought he took it back.
He apologized a little bit, but he was like, I need to play my game. And
Okay.
I don't really know what your game is. Run around like a chicken with its head cut off? I don't know. The Bears still suck. I'm going with Kansas City. We shouldn't talk about this team for very long.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not going to talk about the team very long. But yeah, supposedly the FBI raided this guy's house.
RDC?
Yeah, and like found some shit that like would keep him out of the NFL forever.
Didn't really want to bring it up, but
yeah. These are the rumors. These are the rumors. These are all rumors, guys. But
Kind of stuff. Like,
I don't know. I mean, it's FBI. They're kind of keeping things close to the chest here, but that is absurd. Should it be true? But
jeez.
yeah, he's
we
taking the.
talking about like some Hillary Clinton type stuff
I don't
here.
know,
or what?
dude. I don't know.
Get him out. Bring in somebody new. The defense sucked anyways the first 2 games, so
I thought that's what Bears fans were saying was the best part of their team was that defense.
it usually always is. That and running the ball, and we can't do either.
Yeah,
so
it's just
Well,
bad.
you guys aren't allowing your running quarterback to run right now. So I think, well, and then one last thing, that sack where Justin Fields literally just ran into a sack, like that was just mind-boggling. Like I was watching it, and I was so frustrated for like any Bears fan. I'm like, why? Why are you going there?
The
That
pick six was
that
probably the worst thing I've
interception
ever
was-
seen
yeah,
in
the
my
pick
that
six
entire
was
was
life.
so bad.
The pick
How do
six
you
was bad.
literally throw a screen to? It was just
It was
bad.
like a
Why
running
are
back
we
screen. And
why
then-
are we throwing a screen in the middle of the
Why
field
you
when
throw-
we're on the 2-yard line?
Yeah, you're literally on your
Why?
own goal line. Why are you running the
Why?
screen?
That's not good. That is not good.
Don't get it.
All right.
I
Well,
don't
let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
I don't even
'cause-
want to talk about the Bears anymore.
Should we just not ask you any questions about the Bears in the future?
No, I'm sure I'll get a bunch of calls and texts from everybody that loves the Chiefs to tell me that the Bears still suck. I was like, I haven't picked that up in the last 13 games. Yeah, okay.
If Linda calls, will you at least be happy?
No. It would be great to hear from her, but call me a different week.
Yeah, this is not Chiefs week. All right, let's keep it moving. We got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Arizona Cardinals. I would say another stinker of a game, but the Cardinals are a little bit more surprising than people think. They've been competitive. They've been losing by one possession each time they lose, which is interesting for a team that is borderline tanking. Do they do that with the Dallas Cowboys? No way in hell. This Dallas Cowboys team will feast on bad teams. I think that's what they've done for the last 2 weeks. It will be interesting down the line if Dallas keeps up this kind of defensive momentum. It sucks in terms of offense because like CD's numbers, Tony Pollard's numbers, and Dak's numbers are just not like really great just because they've just been getting great field positioning, so it's not as much field to work with in terms of going down the field. But Dallas is going to probably run away with this game. They're favored by 12 points, very similarly to the Kansas City Chiefs. Over-under set at 43, which I would probably go over just because Arizona is a little bit more challenging in terms of offense.
I would go under. Dallas has the best defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They've held the Giants to 0 and the Jets to 10. They just went to New York and were like, hey, we're going to ruin everybody's weeks for these New Yorkers. The Dallas Cowboys are going to win for sure. The Cardinals stink. I honestly feel like they try to lose these games because the Giants shouldn't have won last
You
shouldn't
got the
week.
Buffalo Wild Wings button in
Yeah,
there.
and then even with the Commanders, like I don't know. I think they're trying to lose. Obviously, they're tanking for a quarterback, probably Caleb Williams or whoever.
So
Drake
pathetic.
May. I don't like it when teams do that. It's a waste of a year. It's a waste of a season, and you're not gaining any fans by doing this. You might be losing fans by doing this, but no. Dallas has the best defense in the league, I think, and they have the best defensive player in the league, maybe the best player in the league in Micah Parsons, who might get some MVP votes this year. We haven't seen that from a defensive guy in a little bit.
I would say the last guy who got votes like that was probably J.J. Watt with the Texans. And aside from that,
Yeah.
probably Aaron Donald too. But like aside from that, not really many.
Definitely J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
I remember him and Aaron Rodgers were like up. It was up for MVP in like 2014, and it's looking like Micah could actually kind of do it. I don't know.
If
It's
he
kind of
continues
crazy.
on,
yeah,
it's
he's
possible.
a beast.
Only
Number
two
11.
players
Shout
have
out to
done
number 11. It's kind of one of my favorite numbers. I don't know why. I just like it.
Double one.
Double one.
Only two defensive players have ever won the MVP, and one of them was LT Lawrence Taylor.
Okay.
So he's
Who won the other one?
it's some guy from a while ago. His name is Alan Page in 1971.
Dude,
Okay.
Alan Page.
Yeah. Some guy.
Alan Page?
Some
Yeah.
guy
I
named
love
Alan Page.
He's my favorite. I'm honest. I have no idea who Alan Page is. Sorry for anyone who I may offend.
Okay, sorry all the Alan Page stands.
I guess these guys don't know ball.
I know.
So who you rocking with here? I know it's probably an easy answer.
Gotta go with Dallas. Obviously, Arizona stinks. Dallas's defense is great. The offense, like you said, kind of getting meh, but the defense is looking great. No, double one. Gonna get his first MVP potentially this season.
At least at borderline defensive player of the year. If he keeps this up, if he keeps this up, he 100% possibly I don't know. I wouldn't say 100, but he wins MVP if he keeps this pace up.
You want to know what sucks though, and I don't really want to say it, but he can have a great year, and then in week 13 something could happen, and then he just screws up his MVP chances or something. I don't know. I feel like we've seen it in the past with many people that were on track to win an MVP. I think I remember it happened with Carson Wentz. Remember when he was doing really good?
Yeah.
And then he got hurt, and they're like, he can't win MVP anymore. So let's just hope everybody stays healthy. There's been too many damn injuries so far this season.
As long as Chris doesn't say anything about him around week 13, I think we're fine. So
Yeah.
I will make sure that the mute button is on Chris whenever we're talking about the Cowboys in round week 13. We got you guys, all right? But Chris, take us to this next game, Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, 8:20 game. It's kind of weird that they're not doing two games on Sunday nights anymore. They used to.
It was just
Didn't
Sunday
they used
night.
to?
One-
No,
Was
one
it
Sunday
only
Night
Sunday
Football is
night.
one. It's Monday Night Football.
Anyways,
Too.
now they're doing two on Mondays. But anyways, back to the game. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders at home. I'm not very high on Kenny Pickett. I think he's down there in the bottom by Zach Wilson somewhere. Probably Justin Fields too, but who's... Anyways, but they got a big win last week, but I don't see them doing that in Vegas. I think both these teams stink, honestly, but I think Vegas is slightly better.
Okay. Joey?
Yeah, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Vegas here. Vegas sucks, so does the Steelers. Kenny Pickett's got small hands, and the Steelers picked with their heart instead of their mind, like they did with Joey Porter Jr. They all suck. What the hell are you doing? I mean, I know they went to Pitt, and the other guy's dad played for the Steelers, but Jesus, God, can you pick a good draft pick? Anyway, I'm going with the Vegas Raiders here. Kind of felt weird there saying the Vegas Raiders. I kind of always still call them the Oakland Raiders. Don't know why. Always kind of fall back on that. But Devontae Adams just traded for him in fantasy in one of my leagues. Hopefully he does well against I don't consider Pittsburgh's secondary to be very good, so a suspect Pittsburgh secondary.
Pat P.
And tell Brandon Ayuk how Pat Pete is. Barbecue chicken.
All things
Started licking his fingers.
Sweet baby Rays.
Oh, God. I'm going to go against the grain here. I think a lot of our picks tonight have been
similar.
Almost identical. So let's go against the grain for one, son. Let's get this Pittsburgh Steelers some love.
Wow.
I think Pittsburgh actually has a decent squad. Going against a Raiders team who's very inconsistent. Wins by 1 point 1 week, and then gets obliterated by the Bills. And then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who ran into a tough team week 1. There's no denying that. Really stepped up their game on Monday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns. I'm just not impressed by the Raiders whatsoever. I think they're a decent team. I think they can get things together, but I don't even consider them a wild card team in the near future. I think they're going to be a team that's on the hunt, maybe, and just be on the outside looking in. I think somewhat similar for the Steelers, but in this scenario, you got to rock with the Berg. It's tough. They have possibly the best defensive player in the world in T.J. Watt. So that's
it's a bit of an old school rivalry here too.
Yeah,
just back in the day.
Yeah, old school football.
John
right
Madden.
T.J.
You know?
Watt, now the all-time Steelers sack leader as of last week, which is pretty crazy
Freaking
because
crazy.
he's only played 5 seasons, and I think he's in up to like 80-something sacks, I want to say. Like,
That's crazy.
Maybe
almost 90.
If we want to put it into a bigger perspective, you know how many legends have played for the Steelers
Exactly.
defense? I mean, that's the steel curtain right there,
Yep.
dude. I mean,
Exactly.
Mean Joe Green has played for that freaking team. And now T.J. Watt leads them in sacks. It's freaking
Another
crazy.
bold prediction I had at work. I was talking to Leger about this the other day. I think if TJ Watt stays healthy, he's going to be better than his brother and a top 5 all-time sacks
Yeah.
in the NFL.
I think there's no denying that at all. Like I think he has the potential. He's shown it. He's tied Michael Strahan's sack record in a single season. So like, and I think he has a possibility of breaking it. I don't know if it's going to be this year or it could be at some point in the near future, but I think it's going to happen at some point.
It might. It very well might. And I just want to see them put him in on like a goal line set like they used to do with his brother.
JJ, yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
put
so
him in at tight end, let him do the nay-nay.
Yeah.
Like JJ used to do.
All right, Chris, take us to Monday Night Football.
I like this game. We got the Eagles going to Tampa Bay, the worst stadium in all of sports. Almost died there. Not going with Tampa. I think the Baker hype ends, hopefully, this week. He's actually looked really good. I will give him his props. A lot of people I've seen on Twitter have been saying, like, this is the most fun I've had watching Baker in a long time, since maybe college. Seems like he's actually enjoying it. He does actually seem like he's taking it up a notch as far as, like, his knowledge to me. I don't know if you saw that clip, but he came into the first game, and he, at halftime, was telling everybody, I know all the Vikings play calls, the signals. So he was figuring them out on the fly, which is pretty impressive. Tampa's played 2 NFC North teams, and the Vikings and Bears beat them both. And Philly, it's also 2-0 against the Pats and the Vikings as well. You got to go with Philly, I think, here. I think hopefully the Baker hype ends.
I'm all on board the Baker hype train. I know Joey is, so I don't want to speak for Joey, but I can read his mind. I feel it. I feel the waves. But I love what I'm seeing from Baker. I just absolutely love it. And like last game against the Chicago Bears, getting after it. If there was a fumble on the ground, Baker was getting after it. Like those are things you don't want to see from your quarterback, but it's a guy fighting for his future in the NFL, and he's really showing like, hey guys, like I'm actually worth being a number 1 overall pick. Like I have that talent too. I think he's like a great success for Tom Brady in this system. And I think there's a good chance that Tampa can be a team in the future to be competitive with Baker Mayfield at the helm. But they're running into the Philadelphia Eagles this week. So I'm going to rock with the Birds. I think Philly's a great team, and they showed last week that they could win in any type of way. They can run the ball down your throat. They can pass the ball. It doesn't matter. Time of possession is a huge thing in football, and if you don't allow the other team to have the ball that much, you're going to suffocate them, and that's exactly what the Birds did to the Vikings last week. Joey, what are your thoughts on Baker Mayfield?
Love him. Always loved Baker Mayfield ever since the day he got drafted. I've been having a ball watching him play.
He's great.
In Tampa. Speaking of which, we live in Florida. It is very hot in Florida. I saw a video of Baker Mayfield getting this dude on the team has a bucket of water and a sponge, and he just drains it over Baker Mayfield's head on the sideline.
It was like 120 on the field last week.
Your coach is wearing a damn hoodie. Maybe that's the reason why you guys suck. Anyway, I love what I'm seeing from Baker. It looks like he's actually determined and really wants to win. He's playing pissed off, and that's what you need in this league. But like you said, the Eagles are freaking great, and I'm going with the Eagles. Sorry, Baker. I don't think the hype train ends here, but I don't think you get a win.
Yeah, by the way, this is Monday Night Football. There's another doubleheader. There's going to be, aside from this week, there's going to be 4 more, I believe, throughout the season. So that's something you should look out for. But this is one of the earlier Monday night games. This is 7:15 kickoff.
Yeah, shout out the writer's strike for
giving
us two games on Monday.
Yeah.
One thing I just noticed that I would like to point out is one of the guys that was calling and texting me last week all excited after his Bucks beat my Bears was Sean, and Sean took the Eagles in this game. So what's up with that, Sean? Your team's 2-0 and you just give up on them, bro?
I think Sean's just being a realist and understanding the situation at hand. Like if I was the Dolphins facing the Eagles and I was in Tampa Bay shoes, I'd probably take the Eagles as well. Like even if, like fandom aside, like I'd probably pick the Eagles. But yeah, back to you, Chris.
No, that's all I had.
Okay.
Plus, I almost died working the freaking Eagles Tampa Bay game last. What was it? 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, the divisional round game.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out
this.
to Alberta.
Yeah. So this game. No shout out to him. He's dead to me. This game gives me flashbacks of Vietnam, bro. Fucking almost falling down flights of stairs, stuff falling on me, jumping off roofs.
Yeah, we climbed like the video board.
Yeah.
So that was horrendous.
I climbed all the way up to the top of that damn thing. Too. I did not. That was not supposed
You
to.
called me. I'm like, wait, you're all the way up there?
Yeah.
Like, why?
I thought that's what we had to do, and I quickly realized that I had to go immediately all the way back down the stairs and then jump onto the roof.
Yeah, that was deeply miserable. We're gonna bring Alberto on set.
No, we're not. He's not coming to our house.
He's dead to you, so we can bring him on to set whenever
Oh,
we
okay.
feel like.
Yeah, we
We're
got
gonna dress
Yeah.
up little Albie, and we're gonna have him here right next to you.
We'll put him in his gaming chair and
Jeez.
we'll throw the Argentina jersey on him, and
All right,
it'll be fine.
Joey, why don't you close off the show
So
with this game?
for the final game on Monday night, we got the Los Angeles Rams facing off against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, the land of the delicious skyline chili. This is tough, man. Cincinnati needs a win. They should win. We don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow. Everyone's pissed off as a Cincinnati fan. And if you're a player or a coach or anybody on that organization, in that locker room, in that building, you got to be pissed off. You're one of the best teams considered in the AFC, and now you're 0-2 to 2 divisional opponents. Not a good story. Los Angeles Rams, I like what they got going with their running back, Kyron Williams. A lot of people don't know this. I'm a big Notre Dame guy in addition to the Wisconsin Badgers. I always thought Kyron Williams was going to be fantastic. Now he's getting his opportunity. Pick him up in every league you can. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams solely because of that. I think they're going to run the ball down their throat. Kyron Williams is going to have a great day.
I don't think anyone has a chance to pick him up. More so because he's the number 2 ranked running back in fantasy
Hell
right
yeah.
now, which is pretty insane.
Really?
I never would have saw that because first off, I thought Cam Akers was like the bona fide lead back. They just traded him away to Minnesota. But yeah, this Rams team is surprising. They lost last week against the 49ers, but aside from that, they're a very outstanding team. I think Stafford has a great control of that offense. The running attack is beneficial. Puka Nacua is literally is a top 4 receiver in terms of yardage, which is insane. A guy who came out of absolutely nowhere. And they're saying that when Cooper Kupp comes back, that Puka is still going to be like a solid role in their offense, which it's going to be interesting to see if that's the case and Cooper Kupp starts going off as well. I think that offense can be very dynamic, and we have a very different Los Angeles Rams team than we thought heading into the season, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm actually pretty excited about that. You forgot to mention that this is a rematch of the Super Bowl.
It
2 seasons ago.
That's crazy.
Let's hope Joe Burrow plays. The calf injury is something to be concerning. It could lead to something worse, and we got to still allude to the fact that Jamar Chase said, hey, sit out first couple of games. Like, we don't, like, we need you, obviously, but we don't need you that bad. Like, we could live without you for a little bit. And I think he's really hurting the team right now, which is unfortunate. Chris? Go ahead.
It's unfortunate and it's dangerous, too, because a lot of these Achilles injuries start from a calf strain or some sort of calf injury. Not trying to jinx another guy, but...
Jesus fudge.
But, yeah, I mean, that's how it started a lot. This wide receiver core for the Rams is interesting, like you mentioned. Kupp is on the IR, and you have a guy named Puka, Tutu, and Van starting for the Rams. I don't know why that's kind of funny to me.
It's a great receiving core.
But it is. Yeah, like you mentioned, Joe Burrow is hurt. I don't even know who Jake Browning is, so I don't have faith in him like Jamar Chase seems to. Plus, Jamar Chase, what a bad fantasy draft pick you've been for me this year so far. Thought you were the safe option.
Oh. Dude,
Everybody
you
thought
were
he was the
looking at
safe
me and
option.
saying that. I'm like, what? What did you?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, bro, he drafted you in fantasy. You were the safe option, clearly.
Dude, I got hands, dude. I'm ready to
Go get the gloves out. Come on.
Dude,
Let's run the cone drill.
You don't want to see me strap it
Go
up.
get the ladder out.
I'm gonna take the Bengals. I might change this pick if Burrow doesn't play, but I'm gonna take the Bengals at home. They got to get back on the right track at some point, and since Joe Burrow's gotten there, they've started slow. So hopefully this is the week that they kind of get back to that. They're pretty healthy overall outside of Joe Burrow, so hopefully he's okay. He's got the longest time out of everybody in the league to kind of rest up and get okay. So hopefully he plays, or else this game is not going to be as good to watch as if he would.
Yeah, This is going to be the main Monday night game. This is 8:15 kickoff. I'm going to ride with the Bengals, but similar to like what Chris said, if Burrow's a no-go, I'm going to go switch to the Rams, but it will be interesting. Can this Bengals team win without Joe Burrow? And if that's the case, how long will he be out should they win? You know, like, if they can keep this rolling without him, I think this is going to be a very interesting storyline to follow throughout the season. So, but that pretty much concludes week 3 of NFL Game Picks. So I want to say thank you guys for watching, and welcome Chris back in open arms. No more skeleton. We got flesh. We got hair. We got eyeballs. There we go.
No hair.
That guy right there. It's not real.
That guy's not real.
He's not real.
Need him. Need Walter Payton to come back.
Yeah, for real. I had to wear a throwback because this is the last time we were actually good was when this guy played. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been that long.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Any last words before we officially end the show?
Go Pack, go. We got boots on the ground in Lambeau Field this weekend. I will be there in attendance. Ooh. Yes, I will be there on the field and flying around, having a good time.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not going to be having a good time this weekend, probably at all. Like normal, I have to work, so I'll be watching the Bears game out of the corner of my eye, I'm sure, but they're not gonna look very good, I don't think, against a really good KC team.
Look at another corner like that.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but I'm just excited football is back, week 3. It feels like it's flying by already.
Yeah, it does feel like it's flying by. I will say a lot of these matchups this week kind of feel mostly lopsided. Like there were a lot of games that we kind of like, these are pretty much locked in type of picks. And there's a lot of other games that were toss-ups, like, for example, the Los Angeles Chargers versus Minnesota Vikings, stuff like that. So I think overall it's going to be an interesting week of football, and I just can't wait. And Dolphins have their home opener this week, so I'm just chomping at the bit. I'm excited.
Only one not going to my team's game this week. That sucks.
That does suck.
Probably a good call on my part. So real waste of money for me at this point, I feel like. Outside of getting some good KC barbecue, but yeah, no.
Ooh, that would be a fun game to go to.
I think I'd rather just stay home and cry alone in my room watching it.
And with that note, that is the end of Week 3 NFL Game Picks. Thank you guys for watching. And if you made it up to this point, you're the best. See you guys later. Peace.